Well, hey everyone, it is Friday the 17th. Just up to Dave Co. They're a hood dealer, local place that I buy some supplies from. Bar and chain oil, hydraulic fluid sometimes. It depends on where we're working, but I wanted to do a video today. I haven't done one in a week or so, and we're still not working yet. There was a few things I wanted to talk about. Of course, for the local woods business and markets, and you know, the coronavirus is still going on, as if we didn't have enough to worry about. I'm sure most people who are in the woods business and on Facebook and looking at all these different pages saw that the J mill in Maine, the two digesters blew up. Had a massive explosion. Luckily, nobody was hurt. But the digesters were totally destroyed, which, you know, it's too early to tell, but makes a lot of people worry about, or contractors mostly. What does this do to the woods business? And nobody really knows yet. They're looking at options to be able to maybe buy raw processed pulp on the open market because the paper machines weren't damaged, and continue to make paper that way. And I think the best scenario would be that they are going to invest in rebuilding the digesters and making paper that way, with buying raw pulp to stay open, because that would mean that the mill would continue to play a part in the role of Maine's forestry products industry. The worry is that it would cost way too much, and they would just take the insurance money and cut the mill up, which is a great possibility. I don't know. The J mill was just purchased in February. Pixel, I guess they're based out of Pennsylvania, purchased the Verso mill, or the J mill, from Verso Corporation. So hopefully, they've only owned it for 2 months, so hopefully they want to give it another run. So, and I don't really know. They're not going to take round wood for the foreseeable future. There's just no way they can. I just don't know exactly what this is going to do to the wood markets. I have some ideas. I think that, you know, softwood is going to be like it was a couple years ago, where softwood pulp is going to be really tight, and you're not going to be able to get rid of them as much as you would have liked to, and the price isn't going to be where you want it to be. They didn't use as much hardwood as they did softwood, so but I don't know that these other mills can absorb all their production, you know. And my question is, what happens with the guys that only ever brought wood to J and nowhere else, and then all of a sudden, of course, I do the same thing, be calling up these other mills trying to get things set up so they can get rid of wood there. Well, that's fine. I want these people to do well, but you can't starve everybody else too. So I think it's still going to work out. I think we're going to see prices drop. They're going to stop buying wood from, you know, probably they're going to start off with probably zone 4, any long wood they pay a lot of money from, and if they're still getting too much wood, they'll cut off, you know, zone 3. And then if they're still getting too much wood, they'll probably come up with one price. And if you're in zone 2 and you want to bring wood to the mill, you're probably going to have to deal with what the price is and truck it there, you know, because they're going to probably have some sort of baseline that they know that they can't pay any less than that, because these mills they're not naive. They understand that if they break too many people, when everything is resolved and the virus is gone and Jay is doing whatever Jay is going to do, they are still going to need lots of contractors to cut wood. So so they're aware of that. I think they're going to try to manage this as best they can. The other thing is that Jay took a lot of mill byproduct, log mills, chips, sawdust, stuff like that, and that was a crucial part of a lot of these sawmills, whether they're hardwood sawmills or softwood sawmills. And so if these mills can't get rid of their byproduct, that's going to make it even harder for them right now, in a market that was downtrodden anyways because of the virus. The log mills are certainly taking a bigger hit than the paper mills right now, I believe. And, you know, again, these are all opinions that I have formed and not necessarily something you would take to the bank, but on my experience and how I think things are going to go. But I think people will get creative. I think if things get tight, you will see, you know, for those of the people that have been around here in the markets, I think the market's going to be like they were in 2015 and 2016 all the way through, probably into the beginning of 2019 or later. And for those of you that may not remember or don't know, what had happened there was really the pulp and paper market collapsing after the financial crisis of 08-09, and basically during that time we lost 4 or 5 paper mills shut their doors in less than 2 years. And even Verso, they shut half the mill down and were barely trickling along there, went through bankruptcy. So what had happened, and so I see it as being similar to that. It won't be exactly the same, but basically then what had happened was when it finally all kind of came crashing down, you couldn't get rid of softwood pulp. There were a few mills that would take spruce fir pulp, and Verso was taking some softwood. So, but for me, we couldn't really we could only get rid of a very limited, and I mean a very limited amount of softwood pulp, and it wasn't paying good. And because all those mills went down, there was so much extra volume on the market that the hardwood pulp prices were terrible too, and we were on tight quotas. So there was a lot more juggling. And I think it's going to be like that. I think that there's certainly going to be some very large outfits that might have to downsize, and there's going to be some guys that are older, that are close to retirement, that are going to go, I don't want to do this anymore. And there's going to be some guys that might be financially irresponsible or on the edge that might go away. And then I think everybody else is going to get through this. I know my opinion is optimistic. I'm not backing off my ideas of upgrading my forwarder. I am taking the optimistic approach cautiously of navigating this whole thing with good people, with the company I work with, and working together as a team with the people that I work with to get through this, and hopefully they do the same. So, which brings me to a couple things that I'll probably do another video on this. For those of you that are in Maine, And if the hardwood log market gets a little tough, or the prices aren't that good, I have some avenues that may be a little more creative and different during this time. So in that avenue, I'm not gonna give out the information of exactly who, where, when on here. If you want to get in touch with me through YouTube, do that, and then I'll give you information. But it's an avenue where there's a direct link to a hardwood mill, and you would be able to get a price without trucking, so you could truck it there through this outlet, or they have center mounts. They can come right to your job and haul hardwood logs directly to the market. So I think I'm kind of doing my part and doing my part to work as a team with the people that I want to work with. Could potentially help some of my other contractor friends and other contractors in the business. So anyways, I will do another video kind of on this, but if you're a logger in Maine and you're wondering about hardwood logs and you're looking for different markets and maybe a market that would come truck it for you if you're a little far away from direct to hardwood mills, which is usually always better pricing, get in touch with me. So, and if you're just a landowner on here that's interested in having your woodlot managed and cut and making some money, and doing the best silviculturally forestry that you want to do, get in touch with me. Fumbling my words again. Get in touch with me with that too. So I'm optimistic. It's hard not to be pessimistic at times. And I certainly have those spells in the woods business. I just think the woods business is hard enough as it is. It is not an easy business. It's not for the faint-hearted, especially if you're going to make a run at it with mechanical equipment and have newer mechanical equipment. You've got to be on top of your game. You cannot at any point be ready to lay down. I think you don't want blind optimism, but you need to be optimistic at the same time. So I think that's where I have decided that I am going to be. I've learned over the past that letting worry and creative worrying creep into your head too much usually leads to non-productive decisions. So what are some of the upsides right now, the optimistic side of things? Well, I think the government's, for better or worse, very invested in printing money and doing what they can to make sure that people are able to get the economy back going when everything gets back online. I think what's happened with the coronavirus anyways, that this has just emboldened the online market. I know I do it. So people buying whatever they can off Amazon, it's cheaper. You don't have to drive anywhere. It's more convenient. And of course, as far as the woods business goes, you know, it's all paper products that gets it to your door. So medical supplies, all that stuff. Our medical supplies are shipped in cardboard boxes, paper products. A lot of the medical testing supplies or other stuff are made with wood fibered products. So anyways, I am optimistic, and in every downturn and in every hard time there is somebody who benefits. Not everybody ends up in the poorhouse. So hopefully having the optimistic view that I have and trying to look and see what I can do to make sure that myself and the people around me make it through this time will be better for that. And I just think that, like I said, in every hard time somebody benefits or just makes it through it. Not everybody in the Great Depression was suffering, so many people were. So, and I guess what I'm saying right now is that it doesn't matter whether you're in the woods business or not. Being optimistic is one of the only ways to get through life without driving yourself nutty, especially in a time like this. So I think it's all going to work out. Anyways, I wanted to do a video, and I know a lot of the videos lately have been like this, me and my truck with timber, but I just wanted to get on here and say a little something. And of course, you know, the biggest thing lately, I thought we were kind of just keeping an eye on this coronavirus with what this was going to do to the markets and the woods business, but now we have to deal with the mill and the digesters exploding. But we are going to make it through this, and people will get creative. And the other thing that I think I was thinking about earlier in the video is that when these things happen, you will, contractors who are on top of their markets, you will start to see them utilize every part of the market. So it's kind of like baking a whole chicken. You cook a whole chicken, you have a big dinner that night with chicken breasts and, you know, whatever else you're making with it. Then the next day you might have a little more of that. Then the day after that you might pick it apart and make sandwiches for a couple days, and then you make a chicken soup with what's left and pick the chicken. That's what happens in the woods business when things get super tight. You see people selling firewood, cutting pallet logs, other hardwood logs, you know, mat logs. You know, you see people utilizing every part of softwood logs, pine, the rough logs, and stuff that may have not paid that great, and when the pulp markets were free and flowing, you might have not utilized that product. So you're going to see that with the woods business if things get super tight, and hopefully everything works out. So anyways,